real connections. This is interesting because when you're first going, when you're going on a first date, it's really important not to have any expectations. And I know it's difficult to do. It's okay to have hope, but expectations is what leads to disappointment. And if you're disappointed, then that tends to lead to frustration, and you don't want to go there. So if you go into a first date with an open mind, you're gonna spend time with somebody new. That's exciting, and you can have hope. There's nothing against having some hope, but do not set expectations, because what will happen is it's going to take you away from your actual date, because you're going to be thinking in the back of your mind, okay, when is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? And that's what happens when you have those expectations. And then when those things don't happen, then you get frustrated. And you may be missing an honest, good time and a real connection. Now, part of getting to know somebody is communication. And sometimes on first dates, people struggle with what words to say and what to say, what not to say. Forget all that. The key is you need to be authentic. So just be you. And I love hypotheticals. I do. Especially in these situations, because you can really get some good conversation going by asking a simple hypothetical question. And when you ask somebody that you don't know very well a hypothetical question, it will help them open their mind, and they'll start to think, and they will naturally kind of open up, because it's a hypothetical. So they don't feel any pressure. They don't feel like, you're being invasive, and they'll be more authentic in their answers, and it will lead to other conversation. And you can choose any kind of hypothetical. I mean, it could be anything. If you could go to any planet, where would you go and why? Just spark some thought and get that going, because that's what leads to connection. You may not have a connection, but at least you'll have some good conversation, and you'll learn something, and that builds self-confidence. But stay away from the deep water and ask some hypotheticals, just really random stuff, because it makes people think. And like I said, they will answer more authentically, because it's a hypothetical after all. What if? It's not asking a personal, deep question, but you are getting information, about the person and how their mind works and how, where they're at. And it is really, really a good tool to use. And it sparks conversation. It sparks thought. And like I said, it will segue into other things, and you'll have probably some really awesome conversation. So if you leave the date not having that spark, at least you had a good time and you had good conversation. And that's golden. But always be authentically you, and make sure that, because if you're not going to be authentically you, then you're probably going to miss the person that's meant for you, because they're looking for who you truly are. Think about that and remember that. Good luck.